Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Grayson, the 2004 fan-made trailer. This thing came out 20 years ago, and it is one of the best things I have ever watched in a live action comic book adaptation, and it's not even a movie. And it's never been made into a movie, not even a fan film. And I'll get into more about that a little bit later. I remember when this thing came out, I was in college. And a year prior, there was this thing called Batman Endgame, where it was a fan film of Batman chasing after the Joker because he just escaped Arkham, and all of a sudden, one of these two things showed up. It was either the alien or it was the Predator. I can't remember which one. And then Batman, or then whatever it was, killed Joker. And Batman fought the alien or Predator thing off. And then more showed up and it ended. And I remember watching that on a website called theforce.net, which that website, theforce.net, is still up and running. However, they have completely changed. Now, instead of doing comic book stuff, now they're solely focused on Star Wars. Get it? The Force? So, yeah. And so, a year after the Batman Endgame thing came out, I was always on that site looking up new stuff because there used to be this one guy who used to fight with lightsabers. I completely forgot his name. Him and his friend would fight with lightsabers, and he was so good and choreographed that stuff so well that he was invited to choreograph some of the stuff for the Star Wars prequels. And so, like, and he was a young guy, I believe, at that time, 20s or something like that. And then, so in 2004, this trailer came out called Grayson. And it blew my freaking mind away. I am not joking when I say this is better than most live action comic book adaptations. Better than Shazam 2. Better than the Flash movie that came out. Better than, like, what is it? Black Adam. Better than all those other, like, comic book flops that have happened. Better than pretty much every single Disney Plus MCU show. And this is just like a 5, close to 6 minute trailer and stuff. It is very well written. It does spoil a lot. If they were going to make a movie, yes, it does spoil a lot. But then again, we don't really know the fine tuning of this movie because it never got made. So there could have been twists and reveals that we just don't know. You know what I'm saying? But like, and this thing had a budget of $18,000, right? And so, like, this one dude with a vision and passion and a true flair for, like, you know, cinema, because, yo, this is true cinema right here, and I'm not even joking. Hobbled together this 6 minute trailer. I wish to God it would have been made into a movie. I wish to God the show Titans would have been like this. Titans was a mess. I have said that so many times. It can't be that hard to write in Hollywood. It just can't. But yet it seems to be. When it comes to these HBO, Warner Brother-ish type, like, DC shows, when it comes to these MCU, like, you know, Disney Plus shows, even some of those Marvel TV shows, it can't be that hard to write, but yet it is for some reason. And so, like, when you watch this trailer, and yes, it is up on YouTube now, there's 2 different versions. but they're the same actual footage. One is back from like many years ago, and the other one is more in high res definition. And it's even like a 30-minute behind the scenes thing. When you watch this, you will be blown away. When you watch this, you will get hyped because the music knows exactly when to pick up at the right moment, and it just gets you hype after hype after hype. You feel like you want to jump through that screen and like put on a costume and fight alongside them. Like, that's how hype it will get you and stuff. And it's because of videos like this, I actually started watching more fan films on YouTube. Some people, whether they have like the budget that make it look theatrical on TV, or people who just have like no budget and they just grab like, a digital camera, set it on like, a box and just record everything like how it is, but terrible audio and everything. Some of this stuff is just so good, you know what I'm saying? Like, these fan films, some people really do have the flair for the arts, you know what I'm saying? And, it's caused me to like watch a lot of like Scream fan films around Halloween, because there are some really good ones out there and stuff. And there are some pretty okay ones, like, comic book stuff. And it also caused me to watch like, Bat in the Sun, when they used to do like the superhero beatdown stuff, which used to be so good, you know what I'm saying? And watching things like this caused me to want to create things of my own. I was in college, and I was just like, I was like making my own little videos of like fan films, and it was just like so much fun and stuff like that, like it helped inspire me and everything. And a lot of these people, they go on to actually become like big time Hollywood like producers or directors. Remember Sam Raimi, he was just a college student. Him and Bruce Campbell, they used to like film things. They used to go to like clubs and theaters and perform, and look at both of them now, you know what I'm saying? I mean, look at the dudes from Saw. They hobbled together that little video and it blew people away. The people who did Smile and everything. So a lot of these people do become really huge and really big. And it pisses me off that this guy, John Farella, he is the one who created this, and he also stars as Robin. And I looked him up on IMDb, and I haven't seen much of anything from him. Why has Hollywood not scooped this dude up? Will like forever piss me off. This dude is so talented and everything. I saw he did something with Chris Brown, some kind of animated movie where he's looking for a lady in a red dress. I've never heard of that. I'll never watch it just because it's Chris Brown. Like, why Chris Brown, man? Why? A woman beater? Like, why? You know what I'm saying? But like, he's done other smaller stuff here and there, and I'm just like, dude, why is Hollywood not like scooping this guy up? Why is he not super duper famous and everything? Like, I don't get it. Like, there's all these other people who are in Hollywood today, and they can't cut the mustard. They can't cook in the kitchen, and yet they're making movies after movies, producing stuff. Like, seriously, the Spider-Man less, like, Sony movies, like Morbius and Madam Web, why does those people get to make movies and this dude don't, And it's like, this video came out in the wrong era. It should have came out now when social media blew up. Yeah, the internet was big back then, but it's even bigger now when a lot of internet people are becoming famous and stuff. A lot of internet people are getting recognized and are like helping out in the movie business. Like, this dude should be working for like, the DCU and everything. And oh, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I completely forgot about this video until the guy who made it re-uploaded it on his YouTube, and it just popped up on my YouTube all of a sudden, talking about the 20-year anniversary. I'm like, 20 years? Oh, I remember watching that. So I rewatched it, I got hyped and everything, and I just decided to talk about it in case those some people who have never seen this thing before. And so how it all got started was like, John and this other person named Gabriel Sablof. I'm not sure how to say that name. Um, Gabriel was like the principal, no, the director of photography. I think you call it like principal of photography or director of photography, something like that. And they was coming up with some things, and John wanted to come up with Robin, like do a different take on him, like a way people have never like seen him before and stuff like that. And Robin is like one of my all-time favorite sidekicks turned heroes in the form of Nightwing, especially the Dick Grayson one. Like he is just like always been my favorite ever since the Adam West television show. Burt Ward was my favorite Robin back then. And Robin's just always been like he did exactly what he was supposed to do in the comics. Like Bruce Timm said, little kids couldn't imagine themselves as Batman, but you can imagine yourself as a little kid fighting alongside him. And so that will always like resonate with me because I used to always have to play Robin. Me and my friends would play like make believe. He would be Batman and I would be Robin. That used to piss me off at first, but then I grew to like Robin a whole lot more. And so with the budget of 18,000 and stuff, like they had to cut some corners when making this thing. They couldn't like you can't never go over your budget. And so they use a technique called guerrilla filming, which, hey, I'm all for guerrilla filming. Basically, what it is that you have a certain amount of time to film in a location, and like, I guess like say you get like a license or something like that to film there. Also, you have to like scout for like local places and stuff like that. And sometimes you have to film places you're not allowed. When you see a good location and nobody's around, you get your crew out, you film it really fast, you pack up, and you get the heck out of Dodge before the cops show up. I mean, that's kind of what the American Pie dudes had to do for the first. No, not American Pie. What was it? Bring It On. That's it. The cheerleader movie. That's what that guy had to do. The dude who made the Ant-Man movies and stuff. I think it's Peyton Reed or something like that. He had to do that because he had to film the cheerleader audition place in a Catholic school. So they had like a lookout. They had a bunch of people there. They had to hurry up and film. Then there was that one girl who had to do like the strip tease and everything so that the nuns wouldn't get pissed at them. Because the thing about it is like, trying to find locations for like movies and television shows. Sometimes TV shows and sometimes movies always look the same. And if you don't have like a green screen or blue screen to really jazz it up, your locations can look kind of dull and like boring. Kind of like, okay, remember the Crow movie from the 90s and how they used like a studio and all these fake buildings and stuff and the rooftops and that red sky? It had its own unique style to it, its own look, similar to that of Batman the Animated Series. Then you watch The Crow Stairway to Heaven and they're filming in a very clean looking realistic street. It's clean. There's no trash nowhere. It looks like a realistic place. Completely different from that of the movie. In the movie, they filmed at night. It was dark. It was grimy. It was grungy. But then in the show, everything looked polished and clean. And they filmed in the daytime. Night versus day. Completely different. So it's hard to find really good locations because a lot of these good locations are the interior and stuff. And you have to actually go inside a building to find something really cool. And sometimes you're not allowed. Like when I was in college one time and my friends dragged me to, it wasn't swing dancing. It was like step line dancing. It was something. I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't swing dancing. And so we was downtown and it's kind of almost like not abandoned building, but kind of like a warehouse type thing, a really old fashioned looking building. And I had to use the restroom. And so when I went to the restroom, the hallway that went down it, and then it's like this weird room with like a steps going up, and then there's the restroom all dark and grungy and stuff. I'm like, man, this is a great location to make a movie. So I whipped my camera out and I filmed, a couple of the stairs and the hallway, dirt and grimy, and I made my slasher fan film out of that and stuff. And it's just like there'd be some good locations you just never know about. So the whole guerrilla like filmmaking thing, oh, I totally approve of it. Just don't get caught. And so one of the reasons why this thing never got made into an actual full-length movie or like fan film is because they would have to have of course permission, I think like from Warner Brothers or something like that, and they would have to like work in collaboration with them. But then something happened at Comic-Con San Diego when they were supposed to film they was either supposed to show this video, the trailer, or something like that, right, at Comic-Con. But then they were not allowed to because of DC. DC prevented them from like showing it because of legal DC reasons. I guess they didn't want to get outstaged or anything like that, But yeah, back to the Warner Brothers thing. They had to put this for free on the internet. I remember I downloaded this off that website I told you about, because they would have to work in tangible with like Warner Bros. Stuff like that. So Warner Bros. And DC basically just like screwed this dude and everything. But one of the interesting things about this movie that I like, other than the story, and I'll get into that a little bit later, is the costumes. Like, I was actually taken back by how much I appreciate these really old school, old fashioned like costumes. Because if you know anything about superhero movies, and if you're old as I am, you know that before Tim Burton's Batman movie, all superhero costumes used to look pretty much the way they came out of a comic. They will be made out of like spandex or like fabric cotton, and it'll be like sewn together, and it'll basically be like a Halloween looking costume. Something you would see like on Adam West's Batman show. It wasn't no fancy material. There was like no padding, no nothing like that, right? That's how the Batman cereal used to be, the Superman one, the Superman movies and TV shows back in the day. It was just made out of cheap plastic that had some nice colors to it. And that's how the costumes all are here now. It looks kind of modern. It has like it looked like it was modern early 2000s, but with old-fashioned costumes. And it's very appealing and everything. Like sometimes I do wish that they would make just at least one Elseworld type like DC movie where people are in the modern day, but they're dressed in very old-fashioned costumes and stuff, because it's just so appealing. And so like so all of the costumes are very, very, very like old-fashioned looking. It kind of, like I said, it looks just like it came out of something like the Adam West television show, right? Another cool thing about this is some of the comic book references that it takes from here. You got things from The Killing Joke. When you see the Joker bust open Barbara's door and she's crawling on the ground, oh, so Killing Joke. It's a little bit of like Crisis in here, where there's like, Superman's down on the ground, presumably dead, and Wonder Woman is screaming and crying over his body and everything. You have a little bit of like Tim Burton Batman stuff in here. You have a little bit of like Batman the animated series. You have a little bit of like Adam West Batman series in here. And so it's like little touches of here and there from like other medias that you will like recognize and stuff. And so like this mock trailer from Untamed Cinema, I can't express how. Oh, also the Dark Knight Returns. There's a little bit of that in there and stuff, and a little bit of like Year One from Batman. And so the dude knows his comics, where to pick and choose from here and there. You can tell this man is passionate, and so like still, like, my props go to this dude. He even built the head bust of, like, the memorial statue of Batman and stuff. There's video of him making that. There's even a little bit of the old Batman cereal from like the way like the Robin costume used to look, and like a little bit of how the Batman costume looked, but not with the flaring like ears. A cross between that of the Batman cereal and that of the Adam West. And so with this, many years have passed, and Dick Grayson is now a grown adult, and him and Barbara are now married, and they have a kid. Batman is dead. Yes, the Dark Knight himself has been murdered. You know, this is what Gotham Knights on the CW should have been like. I don't know why it was so painful for them to make that show. I really don't. But yeah, everybody's like, Robin's retired, Batgirl's retired, and Batman is now dead. And so, he's grieving over his mentor, his father, and it's like a statue of him, but Batman is gone and no more. There's a couple of people there at the funeral, like Barbara, Dick, their kid, Commissioner Gordon. If he's even still a commissioner, I'm not sure. And so the big question is, who murdered the Batman? You know what I'm saying? And this is what's causing Dick to kind of like, he can't let that go. He needs to know who killed his mentor. He heads back to that of Wayne Manor. He starts playing around with like the motorcycle that he used to ride and everything. He wants answers. This is what leads to this big kind of like conspiracy thing about going on in Gotham of the underground and the police department. Chief O'Hara from the Adam West Batman show, who has never appeared in any other medium, is in this, and he seems to be in charge of that of Gotham PD. And he lets everybody know on the news that he's gonna find Batman killers and bring them to justice. While this is going on, Dick is doing his own little investigation and starts figuring some stuff out. When he starts getting a little too close as to who may have murdered Batman, he presents his evidence to like O'Hara, but O'Hara doesn't really want to hear it and basically just tells him like, to drop it and stuff. But he can't just drop it. He has now become obsessed. This Robin has never became Nightwing. The creator said he didn't want to do it because at that time, not too many people knew who Nightwing was. I remember when I watched like, Batman Beyond, I didn't even know Dick had became Nightwing until I saw like reruns of the New Adventures of Batman. I'm all like, is that Dick wearing a new costume? Like, what? And so basically, it causes him and Barbara to like fight, you know what I'm saying? To the point where she takes their kid and she tells him she can't take it no more. She's done with this lifestyle and she is leaving him. Then all of a sudden we see Chief O'Hara talking to Selena Kyle. And Selena Kyle is played by former WCW wrestler Kimberly Page. And it's shocking that the chief of police will be working with, this known criminal. And so I'm assuming this Selena Kyle never turned to the good side and aided Batman. She just stayed like a criminal. So, after like training and all that, he and his wife leaving him, he shaves off his beard, very Dark Knight Returns, puts on his old costume, and goes to work in Gotham, taking down like crooks and thugs and stuff like that, which of course alerts the police. More and more as he investigates, there's a scene where like Commissioner Gordon is like helping out Dick because Chief O'Hara will not and gives him like some documents and information, leading me to believe that Commissioner Gordon no longer works for the police department or has been demoted. This suddenly brings him in the path of the Joker. Let me tell you something right here, right now. Brian C. Bethel, this dude has probably the best looking Joker appearance in live action I have ever seen, and that includes the movies. I know it's blasphemy and everything, but you know, those other Jokers were good too. But there's something about this dude's look that screams the Joker just came from the comics. There's no goofy gimmick when it comes to his smile. He doesn't have like a permanent smile. He doesn't have scars. His face isn't contorted like Matt Reeves' Joker. Oh, that's an ugly version. The Matt Reeves Joker. Please change that man's face up in the future movies and stuff. It's just a simple face of a man with green hair, a little red around the eyes, yellow teeth, and just a normal person's like mouth and everything. The only thing about him I don't like is his extremely long green fingernails that are at least over an inch long. I don't understand why they're that long. And that black jacket over his purple suit, amazing. And so like this is like I said before, this dude has one of the best looking Joker appearances I've ever seen. Like every time he just shows up on screen, I get happy, you know what I'm saying? But sadly, may he rest in peace. He died in 2010, I believe, from like a tumor in the brain or something like that. It's sad because he's dead, and so is the other Batman, not Batman, but the other Joker from a year ago in 2003 from Batman Endgame. Sadly, he took his own life, I believe. And so, like, you know, this brings him in the path of, like, the Joker. And we get to see, like, the hench people and, you know, all this other stuff. And he's, like, you know, busting through, like, Barbara's, like, you know, door as she's, like, crawling and everything. But at one point in time before that happened, we see Barbara put back on the Batgirl suit. I don't know if this is supposed to be, like, a flashback or, like, you know, she just decided to take up the mantle again or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's even a scene where O'Hara is literally about to physically assault like Gordon and everything as he's being like tied down. But basically, this brings on also the attention of Superman and the Justice League. For some reason, Chief O'Hara has called on their services. I don't know why the Justice League is bad in this, but they are. Reminding me of The Dark Knight Returns when Superman works for the government. And so this dude who they got to play Superman looks just like him. It looks just like Clark Kent. It looks just like Superman. The dude has a great look. Now, sadly, a lot of people who worked in this did not go on to make more movies or videos, nothing like that. Some have and some haven't. And so we see a fiery Superman and Dick just arguing about stuff because O'Hara has told him he wants him out of the equation. Gotta assume it's probably Dick or somebody else. And so, like, all of a sudden, there's a great scene of Robin fighting Superman near a beach, but then he's also fighting Wonder Woman and one of the Green Lanterns. Don't know if it's Hal or it's Kal. It could be Kal because okay, everybody else is older in here, but Kal looks relatively young, so it might be him. You know, we see like the Riddler and we see like Penguin and stuff. And it's just everything's getting like more and more intense and the story's building. This is when you get the montage of all the action stuff. And it's just like, man, what's going on? Like the Joker kidnaps like Dick's like kid and everything. And, you know, something, the Batman's death had to revolve around something about like the Joker. Maybe Joker killed him or something. I don't know what. but now Robin's trying to stop whatever the Joker has like planned, and you know, I think there's like he throws him like underwater, this and that. Then there is a scene where Joker shows up with like an axe, and then it's like, you know, there's another scene where it's like, you know, he has a gun. O'Hara holding a baby. Whose baby, we don't know. And then we see Robin jump in front of like O'Hara taking like the bullet. And then there's one scene where Dick is being committed to Arkham Asylum and everything. And it's just like the craziest trailer you will ever watch. And it's just like, man, what happened? Like, God, I wish this could have been made into like a fan film, and animated something, a comic book, something to tell people what happened. Or just like jot it down on the internet and let fans know, you know? I'll link it down in the description so you can watch it for yourself. Trust me, it is something of amazement. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.